Have you ever thought what it would be like to compete in your very first pole dance competition? Well, I find out exactly that in today's episode of the Challenge in the Spin podcast, where I sit down with Anne Marie Foy, who talks about her experience competing in her very first pole dance competition at Exhibition this year in February. She started pole dance fitness in January 2025 with no prior experience whatsoever in dancing or pole. She's now continued to become a pole dancer and also competed in her first competition in February. We talk about her experience competing for the very first time, especially at quite a beginner level, too. She talks about her debrief of competition, what it was like, her experience, why she would recommend it, and we also talk about her faith and Christianity. I first connected with Anne Marie through the podcast Instagram page where she commented under an episode on Christianity and pole dance, and she told me a bit about her journey. So not only do we debrief competition style, but we also debrief Christianity and faith and what that means to her in her pole dance journey. I'm really excited for this episode, and I hope it's encouraging to you as encouraging it was to me listening. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Challenge in the Spin podcast. I'm really excited to get into this conversation because mainly our focus is going to be competition and how you've just went through your first experience competing. So I'm really excited to hear more about this. I've never interviewed anyone that's done their first competition yet, so it's a first. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear
first
more
for me and first for you.
Exactly. But no, I'm really excited. So if you just want to start off with telling the people listening a bit more about who you are and a bit about yourself.
No bother. So my name's Anne Marie Foy. I am from Donegal in Ireland, and I am a data analyst in my work. I'm a mother of two. So I'm two teenagers, so it's fun in this house at the moment. I am 51, coming 52 years of age, and I took a poll last year in January at the age of 50. So I didn't just said I'll give it a go and see how it goes.
Amazing. Absolutely love it. It's absolutely class. You've just given it a go. And to go from only starting it last January to now competing is an incredible milestone as well. So congrats on that.
Thanks very much.
So you said you started pole dancing at 50, and you also said in your bio with really no experience before in pole dance or in dancing.
No. Dance. The last time I would have danced would have been Irish dancing as a child. And I think I'd probably give that up at about 14. And I haven't danced since. I mean, slow dance at the discos. That's a bit tired of it. That's how old I am. There's no more slow sets either at the discos. But yeah, no, I do these things on, I'll not say a one because I was probably a lurker on the LK pole dance page for about a year. And I always kind of like the look of it. And I was kind of building up the courage, I suppose, to take the step. But I'm one of these people that then when I set my mind to something and I say I'll do it, then I'll do it. Yeah. So once I stepped through the door, that's it. I knew I wasn't even trying to get on the pole. I knew once I had taken the courage to step through the door that I would give it a good go and see how it worked out for me, if I was able for it. So the thing, I suppose, maybe that I was looking for, to be honest, I always had a love for gymnastics. Whenever I would have been in secondary school, the PE teacher used to take anybody who wanted to do gymnastics for half an hour at lunch break and set up the gym, and she'd show us different gymnastic moves. Like, that's a long time ago. That's back before gymnastics became a thing in Ireland. Yeah. You know, you never seen an Irish gymnast. There was no Reese McClenaghan to look up to or anything like that. And most of the gymnasts you were looking at were Russian or like Eastern Bloc European or American or wherever. So we really had nobody to look up to here. So we used to go out and give it a wee go for half an hour at lunchtime, a few times a week, and we put on a wee show at the end of the year. But it kind of never left me, and I always thought, I wonder what if anywhere would do a gymnastics style class for adult. Could never find anything. 4 years ago, I done the Donegal Ultra. I trained for a year for cycling and the 333k cycle. Well, me and another fella. We done it in a relay style. And I went through it all. I was a swimmer, a competitive swimmer as I was younger. And the gymnastics thing never left. And I kind of thought then when I was looking at the pole, I thought, going to need strength to be able to do pole and build up my strength and my fitness. And I learned a new skill. And I'm 50. And if I don't do it now, I'm never going to be able to do it. Like, because, you know, I don't know what the right word is. I know I am building strength. I know I am getting stronger. And I suppose it's how long your body will allow you to do that at this age. I went and walked through the door and I haven't looked back. I'll be honest with you, I'd touch wood. I don't think I've missed a class.
Amazing.
In that year. If I have, it's only been one. So, yeah, I really enjoyed going on, and I did pole fitness 1 day a week, Friday evenings until July, and then I took up the pole dance in July alongside the fitness. So I'm really only dancing since July, to be honest with you. And I applied for 2 comps and got into one. I got on the exhibition. So I was kind of shocked with that. It was a last minute decision to enter. So that was the day that the entries were closing. I put on my application. The girls in the pole class were encouraging me to go for it. And I thought, I'm not ready for this. But this is not. Put it on, see how you go. So I got accepted. And I got on. I know, it's crazy when you think about it. 13 months later, to be in your first pole competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good fun. So it was a lot of effort goes into it. I don't think people realise how much effort has to go into it.
Yeah.
You know.
No doubt.
They think it's just swinging around a pole. It's not just swinging around a pole, to be honest with you. Like, and I don't think I appreciated how tough it was going to be either. Yeah. Whenever I started.
No.
You know, I thought, I'll be able to do this. Yeah. It's not that easy.
No, absolutely not. That's incredible to hear as well, your background, because I always think pole is so unique in that other sports, maybe swimming or gymnastics, people sort of peak at a certain age and then feel like, I need to retire, I can't do this anymore. Whereas pole's unique in terms of there's so many people I've met that have started it later in life and are flourishing with it and really doing amazing competitive work and teaching, etc. So it's so nice to have that it shows that sport doesn't end at a certain age, that actually you can still move your body and love it and appreciate it.
Exactly. And like, I suppose I'm in that age now where I'm in menopause. Mm-hmm. And it's so important for women in menopause doing some sort of weight-bearing exercise, I suppose, would be the best way to put it. Well, lifting your own body weight in a pole like I'm doing, or some people go to the gym and lift weights or whatever, but like that resistance just to keep yourself good shape. And I'm not talking about skinny, just to be able to lift something whenever you're older. Or like I follow, I don't know if you know, I follow that fabulous pharmacist online, and she's a great advocate for women who are especially in menopause. She would do yoga sessions and stuff like that, and said, because whenever I get to 70, I want to be able to carry my shopping. This is where the weight bearing exercises come in. Or when I get to 80, I want to be able to lift myself up off the toilet. Yeah. You know, these are the things that you don't think on. That's way down the line. And you think, oh, sure, what would I need that for? But now you're getting I'm at that stage because you want to be as independent as possible as you get older. So you do. So I've just found something that has kind of clicked for me in the pole. But I know I'm building body strength, and if I can, and I'm also doing flexibility. I'm doing strength and stretch as well in the class, and that's changing up next week to a flexibility class. I'm hoping that'll continue, because you want to be able to stretch your muscles. You don't want to end up sitting when you're older and not moving all day. And it's important that way. So yeah, I think whenever you hit an age, we have to do something. So you can't just sit there all day and not do anything. So, and pole's just something different to do.
No, and I think that's so encouraging as well for people listening, because it's showing that pole isn't just about doing this fitness to be a certain size or to have a certain shape. It's actually setting you up for later life, that, as you said, just even getting off the toilet and carrying your shopping, that is basic needs that we need later in life, that pole is helping us to achieve from our age.
Of course. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, you think about it, if you can lift your body weight up onto a pole, Now, I'm not great at inverting yet. I can only do my inverts through a controlled kick through, so I still haven't got that invert from a deadlift. But it'll come eventually if I keep persevering with it. Like, but you can imagine lifting yourself, lifting all your lower half of your body up and your legs over your head. That's going to stand to you in later life. As long as you can stay injury free, I suppose, and don't do yourself any real damage. Which, I mean, you know, touch wood, look after your body and be careful on the pole. Make sure you stretch and warm up and make sure you cool down and all that. Like, and your body will stand to you. Your own body will tell you how far you can go to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so encouraging. And I love there you spoke then about you've now moved into the competitive field and actually very impressively quickly too, because there's so many pole dancers that have done it and have never competed yet and they still have that fear. So I'm interested to hear then what made you take, you said there your pole studio sort of encouraged you, but what made you take that step to actually compete? The girls in the studio built me up to the point that they said, like, you know, you're ready. What they had said to me was, like, I know that I'm only learning a lot of stuff now on the pole and the dance and things like that. And they even learn how to dance in heels and walk in heels and stuff. It's not the easiest thing, but I mean, they're probably easier to dance in than they are to walk in, to be fair. They said I have performance in me. Fair enough, my moves might not be fluid and my transitions and stuff like that, but I'm a good performer. And they says, for the likes of the exhibition, especially in that Pop Your Cherry category, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for you to climb the pole and do amazing tricks in the pole and things like that. They're looking to see that you can get up there, I suppose, and be able to perform and put on a show. And I thought, right, because I had applied for Hellfest, and that would have given me another, I suppose, Hellfest isn't until May. It's actually the night of my birthday, so it is. I thought, God, imagine you get onto that and it's been the night of your birthday. Like, but I would have given me another 3 months towards Hellfest. But then they said, well, you're applying for exhibition too, aren't you? No, I'm not. No, are you mad? Exhibitions in February. This is like coming into the first weekend in November. I'm not applying for exhibition. This is put your application in. So I thought, right, I'll put on, but I know I'm not going to get in. And then it was 30th November, the email came through to say I had got in, and I'll be honest with you could have knocked me down with a feather. So you could have, I was so shocked. I thought, how and under God. And I would say when I landed there 2 weeks ago or 2 Saturdays ago, I was easily 20 to 30 years older than the rest of the girls. Love that.
I was like their mother. I was probably thinking, who's this out of all here?
Love that.
Oh, God. But it was fun. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so encouraging as well for people listening that actually to just take that step is the hardest part. Once you get there, you have a ball and you enjoy it. So I'm intrigued to actually dive into it more of your experience, because especially from quite a relative beginner to pole dancing, what is it like to compete? How would you describe that whole process?
On the Saturday morning, I saw there was about maybe 4 or 5 of us from my category, and then there was 9 of us competing in it all together, but they didn't all come for rehearsal. So I saw some of the girls and I was talking to them, and I saw what they were able to do in rehearsals, like, and some of them done a complete run through, and I kind of looked at them and I thought, you know what, I know in my heart and soul I having a hope here of placing, and I didn't place. So I knew I wasn't going to place, but it took the pressure off. Took the pressure off me thinking I need to place here tonight, like, or this is not going to be no good. That's going to be the worst thing in the world if I don't place. I just went on there then and just thought, just enjoy this experience, get up there and just put on the best performance that you can put on. And I did. The crowd really got behind me. Fair play to them. Like, the girls in the pole studio had come up. There was a good squad of them come up, and you can hear them roaring and shouting and everything in the background. And it kind of, you know, gave me this feel for, it's the performance I love.
Yeah.
You know, and getting up there, and like, I wouldn't be a nervous person getting up in front of people. You know, that talking in front of people and like groups or whatever, I can get up and do my piece or whatever. Nerves never really get me that way. So I have been used to being now I'll not say performing, but I've been used to standing up and talking in front of people and all before. So to get up in front of the judges, the rest, probably about 200 people in that room that night, I just thought, I hope they enjoy it. That's all I wanted them to do. And I hope that they enjoy this, that I can show them what I can do at 51.
Yeah.
Being menopausal and just get out there and just do it. Do you know what I mean? And experience was great. Like, by last night, I got checked into the hotel. And once I got rehearsal over, I went up and had my lunch and went up to the room and went to bed. Fell asleep. I didn't get up till 3:30, and then I started to get ready, and then I sauntered down the stairs at about 5 o'clock. There was I know I was not laid back. I just went with it, but yeah, it was good fun. And it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. So, and I think that's the main thing. Like, I go out there with the pressure of putting yourself on a half place because everybody's amazing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, to even go out there, look, as somebody says to me, even to get chosen to be that top 9, to get in, they wanted to see what I was able to do, I suppose. And I enjoyed how it was run. It was fast. It was, on the ball. 6:15 it started. It's a long show. It was about 10 to midnight before we were finished up. Like, so it is a long day. And you need to really be making sure you're eating properly and hydrating yourself and stuff like that. Because the only thing was for us in Popular Cherry, we were on first, so we could get ours out of the way early. But there was 3 more categories to come after us, and then Dick Van Dyke was the MC, and then he did a wee show then before the judges' scores were ready, and then the prize given. It's a 6-hour sit. Girls who came and the lads who came to support, they were getting in the doors at 4:30. Yeah. It's a long day. Definitely. So it is. But it was very enjoyable, very good. I would recommend anybody who's never been to a pole show before, go and see what it's all about. And I've heard it on some of the other podcasts that you've done. You get people who will look at it and think, it's all about stripping and it's all about, selling yourself up there and whatever. But it's not. If you actually going to see what these people are able to do on a pole, and the fact that they can stay up there hanging on by another thigh, like a hook. Yeah. And you're just like, are they seriously doing that? Like a jade split. If you imagine someone doing a jade split. Yeah. And what are they holding on with? The inside of their thighs. And you're just like, okay. Yeah. How are they managing to stay up on that pole and not fall off it? Like, trying to get people to understand that this is why you need the skin. This is why you need to be wearing little clothing so that it sticks to the pole. Definitely. The bear skin sticks to the pole. So, yeah, but no, the competing was very good. There was one girl backstage with us and she was so nervous. God love her. She was on our category as well. I get up there and over there and shook her hands. And I says, look, just breathe through it. I says, she was, but what if I forget? She was standing going through the routine in her head. And I was like, just remember this. Nobody out there knows your routine. Yeah. You know your routine. Mm-hmm. Nobody else knows what your routine is like. So if you forget something, don't stop. Just keep going. Yeah. That's what you have to do. As long as you don't stop, you'll flow onto it and it'll come back to you again. Mm-hmm. I messed up part of my routine. So I did. And there was nothing I could do. But I didn't stop. Yeah. I kept going. You know what I mean? And I know exactly where I messed up. And say if you looked at my video back, you'll see where I messed up. So you would. But look, no harm done. Yeah. That was my first competition. So, as I say, it's just about getting out there and performing and just hoping that everybody enjoyed it. Exactly. And I think they did.
Absolutely, they did. And I think you have perfectly summarised the experience of being at a competition, because the atmosphere is just absolutely incredible. It's one of the most supportive environments. Fantastic. That, just hearing people cheer, all different backgrounds and experiences and ages competing, it's so encouraging. And I absolutely love to feel that experience. I'm so glad your experience was positive too with it, and the competition looked incredible. I think as well it's important that you said it's not easy either, and you talked about that girl feeling quite nervous, and a lot of people feel like that coming up to competition. So I'm intrigued to hear sort of your opinions on what your personal challenges were, or maybe lessons that you've learned from competing in your first competition that maybe you would do differently if you were to compete again.
Oh, well, no, the training for me, I suppose, started, I would say, middle of December. I was starting to do like open pole practice then after my pole fitness on a Friday night, just, try and put a routine together. Like, I choreographed that pretty much myself, but I know I would have got Claire to have a look at it and with me and maybe tweak things for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, asking for where I was starting and the flows around the pole that I was doing to the chair, because I had chair in mine, and then the whip, and then to the spinny pole and back to the chair, and the bit of floor work. I had a lot in my routine, like there was a lot of elements to it. And I'm probably more proud of the fact that I managed to choreograph it.
Yeah.
Mostly myself. And be able, because that's another side of it that you don't think on. I've done enough workshops, like I've done workshops with Martini Muse and Lottie Adore, a Scarlet Raven. I've done one of hers, and I've done one with Leah Rose last year. So, I mean, you pick up the last week before the competition. I was still tweaking it, and it just comes to say, really, you have to let it alone.
Yeah.
Whatever it will be. I think for me, the hardest part, and you can see it, you can see it in the routine, and I got feedback on it, is the transitions.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to flow smoothly between moves and stuff like that. I suppose which will come with time, because in pole fitness, I suppose you're focused on this move, and then you'll focus on this move, and you'll focus on this move, whether it's climbing a pole or a spin on the pole, or a certain move on the pole, a static hold or whatever. But the flows, I think, probably come more whenever you're in pole dance, and you're learning how to move between these moves then, and you're trying to put it together. So my routine was probably a bit more leaning towards the hard style, which I probably would say not that I'm not a fan of it, but I don't think I'm able for it. But if the song was a rocky song, but to me, it was a slow enough, fast rock song, if you know what I mean. I've heard faster.
Yeah.
So I have, when you do see it, it was funny because I was counting up how many different moves I had before I left the static pole. And I left the static pole within a minute and a half, and I had 20 moves.
Wow.
And, I could have been doing way less, but I think it's probably because you nearly be a panic stage. Like, I can't stop here. Yeah. What am I going to do? But this was stuff I had choreographed. This was all part of it. But yeah, and that's not counting then going to the chair and doing all the whip work around the chair, and then going to the floor and doing a bit of floor work and over the spinny pole and all that. I don't know how many moves I actually had in the end, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
And as Claire keeps saying to me, you can slow down your routine. And if you think you're going too slow, you can probably slow it down more. Mm-hmm. But that takes skill.
Yeah, of course.
To do that. Mm-hmm. And it's to have a routine that's nice and flowy and slow and it looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I think that kind of got me most whenever I was trying to learn and choreograph it, I'm not great at body waves.
Oh,
body waves are my nemesis.
I'm terrible at them too. Brutal.
And I try to add them on because I keep thinking I will get better. I don't think I'm actually getting any better at them, but maybe it'll come to in time. But I mean, when I keep thinking if I do a body wave slow, it'll show that I can't do them.
I'm like an ironing board trying to do a body wave. It's terrible.
I know, a plank against the pole. But yeah, I think physically and mentally, those things were I would have been affected coming up to it. And yeah, there was one week there that I trained 7 times that week. And that was counting doing my 3 classes, and then I had 4. Can't even remember how I ended up training 7 times, but I did. Wow. And I was just like, and then you're working full time and you're trying to look after 2 teenagers and a couple of animals. And
yeah. No, I think that's so lovely because, like, we as the audience sit and have the privilege of watching these routines that are 2 to 3 minutes long and they look incredible, but you don't see the behind the scenes of actually what it takes to get to that 3 minutes. It's so nice to hear that from your perspective.
Yeah, like you don't get to put something like that together and one hour class. Let's just put it like that. You have to figure out what works for you, what works for your body, and I'm still trying to find my way through these things. Like I'm no professional pole dancer. At the end of the day, this is my hobby. I'm not a studio owner or doing it professionally where I'm getting paid for it or anything. This is a hobby, and you can only put on X amount of time to be able to do this, and it takes up a good bit of your time to be able to put a routine together and see what works for you and see what's not working for you and maybe pull it apart, start again. So there was I can't. The first night that I stayed for open pole practice after I got into the competition, it was literally that day or that week I was up and thinking, I wonder your mind just goes off. You're meant to be doing all those things and your mind just goes off and you'll be thinking, look, can I start it like this? And if I have something that I can start it on, then I'll just keep going then until I have something to put together. So yeah, there's a lot on it. So there is to get ready for competition.
No, it's genuinely incredible. And I do want to just say like a massive congrats to you because it's such a big milestone, especially in such a short space of time. To just be practicing in December to then competing in February is absolutely incredible. And I loved when you said about you had a feeling you weren't going to place, but that wasn't what it was about for you, that it took the pressure off for you and that you actually enjoyed it. And I think that's really good advice for people first competing. And I haven't heard that before as well, which is so lovely to hear that it's not all about that. So I'm intrigued to hear just briefly a bit of some advice you would give to first time competitors.
Go out there and enjoy it. If you've got on, well done on getting into your competition because you can't accept everybody in. So even to get that far as a one, and that's how I look at it. So go on, mix in with the other girls and fellas who are there competing. I mean, like the backstage area, and talk to them. Just go out and enjoy the experience. It's there to be enjoyed. Don't put the pressure on yourself about placing because I'm not saying that it all depends on how you are under pressure. But you'd be far better off just to go out and go with the flow, know your routine, and just give it your all and say, that's it, I did it.
Love it.
I'm off, the crowd loved it. The judges will give me their feedback, and if I place, I place, and if I don't, well and good. It's just about enjoying it at the end of the day. That's the best advice I could give anybody, and take that pressure off yourself.
Love it. Oh no, so encouraging, honestly. I love to hear that, and it's such a nice environment to be in a competition and to feel that both from a competitor's perspective, not just the audience feeling that, is so lovely to hear too. I would love to get into how we actually connected, which was through the podcast Instagram page. So I obviously posted the Alison Hudson episode on Christianity and pole dancing, and you very gratefully reached out and sort of said a bit about your journey. So I'm intrigued to hear then more from your perspective, and also as a competitor too, as a pole dancing Christian, and how that sort of connects in your life.
That's probably why I was a lurker for a long time, if you know what I mean, and watching the page and seeing it. But there was always something that pulled me to think, I would love to do that. But how would it go down with me being Catholic? And you know what I mean? I couldn't imagine how everybody would take it. And to be honest, I haven't told a pile of people that I'm doing it. It's only really, if you were on my Instagram page, would you know? And my Instagram page is not me. It's anonymous. Nobody would know it's me. I do it for my physical health and my mental health. My faith means a lot to me. I wouldn't be the best mass scorer at the minute. I kind of dip in and out of going. Yeah. But my faith is it might not necessarily be sitting down to blessing yourself and saying your prayers again, but throughout the day, you be asking God for this, that, or the other. There's times where I need to go into the chapel and light a candle, sit down and say my prayers and ask God to help me through with things. I have friends who have, I don't know why, they reach out to me to pray for them, or pray for somebody belonging to them or whatever, and I do. And I have one friend in particular, and he would have been reaching out for me he would have had friends or colleagues who would have had people belong to them were sick or that needed help or whatever, and he kept coming back to me and saying, will you please pray for them? And then I would do like a novena for 9 weeks for them and go to the chapel every Tuesday and light my candle and do the novena. And then at the end of the 9 weeks, I say, right, that's it now. Novena's finished. It's in God's hands. And he would come straight back to me and say, well, you're not going to believe this, but XYZ is like cancer free, or the baby is doing well or whatever. And I'm like, what? Amazing. So like it's amazing. You know what I mean? To hear that back, to know that even though I don't know who I'm praying for, I don't know these people because other people are asking me to pray for them, that it works. So at the same time, I think not that God pushed me towards pole, but he probably gave me the confidence or the courage to step through the door. Yeah. If that makes sense, because it was doing something for me. And yeah, I get the whole sexual aspect of pole, because we have to have skin shown to be able to get on the pole and stuff to get. And certain people strip on the pole. That's where it came from. Pole dancing came from the strippers, and you have to give the nod to the strippers. Like whole fitness and all coming into it now, I suppose, is maybe newer in the sense of becoming a fitness thing, but it started off with the strippers dancing in the clubs, and you have to tip your hat to them. Those girls must have been amazing. Yeah. I've never been in a club, I don't know, but to be able to, they created all these moves that we're able to do. But to me, I'm okay being Christian and pole dancing and doing pole fitness, and I'll tell you what it has actually done for me. It's made me love my body and the shape that it's in. Love it. And God, I suppose for me, is you have to love yourself somehow or other before you can project that love out to other people. I'm probably getting very deep on this, but it's, self-love. And it's funny, Claire, who owns our pole studio, has a motto, and it's very true. Like, self-love is non-negotiable. You have to have self-love. If you have a self-love for yourself, and this is not about being big-headed or anything like that. That's about saying, I am happy in my body. I am happy in my life. I'm happy with what I'm doing. You then will project that over onto other people. Yeah. You might have a bit more grace for them. You might have a bit more humility. When you're around people, you might be able to spread the love towards people, or a bit more empathy for people. But if you're, not, you don't want to be hitting on yourself. Yeah. Because then that might project the wrong thing out then. I think you can, to me, the two things can go hand in hand. I don't get me wrong. I'd say there's a lot of people out there, if they found out I was pole dancing, would be shocked. Totally shocked. And I would say there's a lot of people out there, we would say, eating the altar rails, who would think that that's not on. You can't do that. But you can. It's your life. You choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, who am I harming?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not harming anybody. I'm trying to do it for my own physical health and my own mental health. Because there's days I can leave my work and I've had a bad day and I might go straight to pole class and dance it out of myself. And within that hour, I'm walking out of that pole class feeling a lot better and a lot lighter than when I went in. That means I can come home then to my kids in better form.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? No.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know if that answers the question about God and Christianity and pole dancing, but
no, it does that all. Absolutely. I think you really nailed it. And even what came to my head as you were talking, similarly, the way you have friends that reach out and ask for prayer, when you were talking about the story at your competition and you seen a girl was really nervous and you went up to her, that to me shows that was, your Christianity, your faith that was giving you the courage to reach out and love other people and actually encourage that girl at a very nervous time in her life.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, you have to look around the room and think, well, nobody knows what's going on in anybody else's life. Try and understand why are they acting the way that they're acting. Whether that be anger or fear or tears or or happy. I think you just have. It goes back to that motto of if you can be anything in this world, be kind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it takes nothing to be kind.
Yeah.
And that all comes back then into how you were reared and the faith that you have, been brought up with God in your life. And I mean, as I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not in at Mass every Sunday. I'm not, I'm a dipper in and out, as I would call it, with Mass. But I mean, it doesn't stop me from having my faith. It doesn't stop me from praying or asking for prayers or for people asking me to pray for them. It doesn't stop me from going to the chapel during the week and lighting a candle and maybe saying a prayer for somebody that needs it or whatever. But faith can be anywhere. It's not inside those chapel doors. Do you know what I mean? And at the minute, I'm praying for a friend's nephew who's seriously ill in hospital. We 22-month-old young fella. And there's more candles been burnt in this house in the last 6 weeks. Swear to God. And more prayers have been asked for him. And that wee fella has defied the odds. Now, he is critically ill, really, really bad. He's amazed the doctors. The doctors cannot understand how he is still here. But I believe that the power of prayer and the amount of people who have been praying for that child is why he is still here. God's not done with him yet.
Yeah. Amazing.
So, I mean, just put it on the pole and just go on and keep, say we prayer. Can I get up onto that unbird tonight?
Exactly.
Can I climb that pole tonight? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Help me nail this move tonight. God, I need it.
No,
I need to be able to, for my own confidence, get me up there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. I think, again, you've just perfectly summarised sort of how it interconnects in so many different ways that at times we don't even notice, but actually you do see the connection there within the pole community and your Christianity and your faith, and it's so encouraging to hear that more too. I'm intrigued as well to hear you were saying about not many people maybe know that you pole dance, and obviously you've then went public for the first time in your first public competition. And I'm intrigued to hear sort of how you found that then. Was there ever a time where you thought, oh, what if someone I know has seen me or heard this or seen this video? Or was there a bit of apprehension there? Or did you feel just, you know what, let's do this?
Well, I suppose the way that I'm looking at it is because my Instagram is completely private. Nobody's able to come in and just see my video. They'll never know it's me from my Instagram picture. They would need to know my Instagram name to be able to say, oh, that's her. And I'll request her and I'll get a look to see what she's posting, because most of my Instagram posts that I'm posting up myself as all pole. My Instagram page is purely for pole and dance and stuff like that, because I've started to do chair dancing too now once a month in Derry. So I have, and but I don't have any apprehension on it such until somebody that I don't know that knows how to approaches me. Says it to me. So I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. But I'm making more peace with it as I go on. I'm not hiding it as much. I know whenever I started at the very start, I didn't want anybody to know. It's a secret. And there are people who know. Don't get me wrong. But I just wouldn't tell everybody. If you know what I mean. There's still that bit of apprehension there that way, because they don't need to know. Because at the same time, I suppose it's me thinking they're going to start making noise at me now about doing this, and I shouldn't be doing it, and why are you doing that, and you're not thinking on your kids and things like that. And it's for me. I'm doing it for me in the sense of my physical health and my mental health, and it helps me and I enjoy it. And I think there's no point in telling somebody who you think is going to end up making you feel bad about it. So just don't tell them. And if they find out and they want to say to me, they can say to me. But I mean, it's my choice. Everybody has a choice to do what they want to do. And that's not the end of the world.
No.
So it's not.
Absolutely. And I hope actually that, once this episode goes live, it's also a way to sort of reassure you that you should be at peace with this, because even just me listening myself, and this hasn't even gone live yet, I just know so many people will really be inspired by your story and be so encouraged both in their faith or in competitions, etc. So I hope once this goes live that you yourself as well make more peace with it, because it's so encouraging. You're doing amazing things with it as well.
Thank you very much.
No,
I just thought I'll just go and do this. Step through the door and off you go. I didn't put it like this. I never thought that I would be dancing. I never thought I would be competing, and I never thought I'd be in a podcast 13 months later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, love it.
Getting interviewed for it.
No, but that's the thing. And even when I think back on the episode with Alison Hudson, who's another Christian that pole dances, she at the start of her journey was very apprehensive. She didn't post on social media, people in her church, etc., was very apprehensive about it. And even that episode I did with her is so far the most listened to episode on the Challenge and Spin podcast. And I think it's because so many people really connected with that and really said, you know what, if she can, I can too. And I hope that people listen to this one as well. I think you will also have encouraged so many to think that as well and take those leaps. Definitely.
That'd be brilliant. If it encourages one person to try it, my attitude to life now is I don't want to be lying on my deathbed whenever that day may come and saying, I wish I had it for anything. You don't want to be living with regrets. So, even if you go on and try one class and you try it and you think, this actually isn't for me, but at least you've tried.
Absolutely.
It's the same with anything in life. Try it. When I decided to do the Donegal Ultra 4 years ago, I decided the year before, and I went out and bought a second-hand bike and trained for a year. I hadn't been on a bike in 32 years. I was a teenager. We did it, and we done it, as I say, as a relay, and it's a 333 kilometre cycle around Donegal. We left the ramp at 8 8 in the morning, and we got back into Letterkenny at 1:30 that night. It was a complete 17.5-hour cycle. And you should see where we were at. But that was the thing, I had to try it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had to try it, but I did.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me will tell you, I'm one of these people, like I say, there's always a project on the go. I don't think I can settle,
Yeah.
you know. And, you know, I don't know what's next for me in pole, to be honest with you. I didn't get into health class. I'm definitely never going to be on AIPDC because that's just tricks up the pole and more, I suppose, from what I saw of it last year, yes, there was performance in it, but you can do it on bare feet. It's not a heel specific competition, and they're amazing. And I don't think I'll ever reach that level, because age is going to go against me.
Well, never say never.
And I know there are people there. Well, unless Elle Fagan puts on an over 60s category, which again, another 8 years, I'll be 60. Maybe I might be ready by then. But yeah, and then exhibition, if I was to apply next year, I would assume that I would have to go up to the next category. And coming from this year, I know I'm not ready at this stage, and I don't know how advanced I will get in the next year, or not even whatever time she opens up the applications. It could be 9 months away. Will I be ready to apply for the next category? Because the competitors just get more and more amazing as you go up. And as I say, to see what they're able to do, and you're just like, oh my God. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to spectate too.
Absolutely, no. And I think it's a nice place to be as well, sort of being like, I don't really know where I'm at the moment, but that's nice. It's sort of just going with the flow and see where the wind takes you. It's a good place to be. But
exactly.
No,
exactly.
I think this conversation has been so encouraging for me. Like I really love the perspective of looking at competition through a lens of someone that's never competed before, and actually that experience and your faith growing through it, and it's been so lovely. So my final question is sort of the question that I ask all my guests, is that this episode's of course Challenge and Spin, because I wanted to challenge the narrative and sort of highlight the versatility and the amazing benefits of the pole community. And I'm intrigued to hear what is a topic that you think we should challenge the spin on. And again, it doesn't need to be pole related.
I have been thinking about this question, and I know where to even start with it. But I suppose it's probably a cliched one when it comes to the pole side of it, that you need to anybody who's thinking about it and is thinking, oh, I can't do that or I can't go there because of the whole stripper aspect of it, needs to get that out of their head. Like, it's a sport. It's not an easy sport. Yes, as I said earlier in the podcast, you have to tip your hat to strippers. This is where it came out of. They created the moves, and they're there. That this is there because of them. But I think you need to get past this thing. And I was there myself last year. When I think of how my outfits, in the sense of what I did pole fitness in at the start compared to what I'm doing it on now, people don't care around you once you're in that studio. They're more interested in what they're able to do themselves. And I know in the pole dance, everybody's videoing themselves. They don't care if you're not able to get that spin or get that move or whatever it is, because they're too busy watching back in their own videos. You do become a bit self-obsessed by watching them, and then watching yourself and then going, I can do that again. But I think for anybody on the outside listening on, there are reasons why you have to do pole the way you do pole. Otherwise, you're just not going to stick to the pole. So you're not, but you need to try and get past that narrative in your head and just get on there and give it a go. Why not? Absolutely. What have you got to lose? So you haven't. So yeah, I think that's the main thing that you could challenge whenever you're coming to challenging the spin on pole. So you could just try and get past that. Get past the voices in your own head and what everybody else thinks. It's nobody else's business what you do in your own private life. I think too many people get up on their heads about conforming to everybody else's standards. That way, then you're not really loving your life. You're loving their version of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. What a way to end that episode. What a perfect way to end it. No, honestly, I think, yep, you've absolutely nailed it right there. That it's just you. It's you in the poll, and that's what it's all about, really. Yeah. Just between you two. No, honestly, thank you so much for taking the time to sit and chat with me.
You're very welcome.
And it was so encouraging when I seen then you were posting on your social media the footage from the competition. I felt like a pride. I was like clapping behind the screen. I was like, this is amazing. So I love to see your journey as you continue and whatever may happen in the future too with your pole journey.
Whatever may happen.
Whatever may happen.
We'll wing it. We'll see what happens. So you never know where you might see me next.